going to be a wow Christmas, and we're going to help you today with one of my favorites, Jennifer Rukavina. She is going to show us how to make a Christmas centerpiece.
Yeah.
Jennifer owns a Paducah flower company. Many of you may have known her from being a meteorologist, which you still do that too.
I still do. I'll be on there Christmas night.
Nice.
So people can watch me Christmas night for a little Christmas cheer there.
Nice. And then today, she's going to show us. So tell us, Jennifer, how can we do something for people who don't know how to put together
and maybe not so artistic or don't know where to start? That's the big thing, is you don't really know where to start. So I say start in your backyard. That's the best place. You don't have to go all over looking for things that are hard to find. A lot of what you can find and make a centerpiece with is in your backyard, especially if you have any evergreens. Arborvitae, holly bushes, which are all very common around here. I wouldn't suggest going in a neighbor's yard unless you ask. Magnolia leaves. There are so many magnolias around here too. I know Paducah Bank has several in their parking lot. So there are many things that you can use to do a centerpiece. So we've got some of our greenery. We're gonna pick some of this, which a lot of this you can find in your backyard, some of the pine, the arborvitae, the cedar, and some spruce, and a lot of this you can also find at Lowe's in like bundles.
Okay.
So it's not terribly expensive, especially if you want something really nice to display when family comes into town or hosting a holiday dinner or party. And then the other thing I really like is to mix your textures and the types of products you use. So I also brought with me, there's no rule that you have to follow in making these. So I also bring some artificial things to add that have glitter in it, like some of the berries, and then I bring some of the white frosted things that you can find Hobby Lobby, Michael's, you know, anywhere like that. And usually by the time you're having a dinner, a lot of that stuff's on sale too, so it's affordable to go get all of that. And then I like to add some other textures and media, like maybe some ornaments. We're gonna do a little reindeer. Nice. I'm gonna go with a woodsy winter look because that's sort of what I'm jiving with right now. I love the winter feel. Of course, being a meteorologist, I enjoy the winter part. And then we're gonna put some candles. That's always nice added touch on your centerpiece for your table, and then some ribbon, of course, to top everything off. So the one thing you wanna remember when you start is you wanna put a liner in whatever you're gonna use. Use a planter that you used outside. You can get a plastic container, spray it gold, silver, do whatever you want. I picked this. This is just a kind of a standard cement planter that we have at the shop, but I like to line them and use them as a tabletop because they're a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. And then we can drape some things over. So it doesn't really matter what you use.
And then you
this is a wet foam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is a wet foam. You can find those again, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, any of those places, Trees and Trends, you could find that pretty easily. You want to make sure though it holds water because there is a difference. There's a dry foam that's like a styrofoam, and then there's a wet foam.
Okay.
And this allows all of our greenery that's fresh to stay fresh. It has some hydration. So we're going to start with just greening. That's how you start any flower arrangement. Putting together a centerpiece is no different. So I like to build my foam up above the lip of the container so that I can drape down a little bit so that you can extend your greenery out and it can lay on the table a little. So if you have a large space, you can drape this out as long as you want.
And you're cutting at an angle so that it
it does retain water. It draws it up a little easier. I'm just used to cutting it that way for roses and things like that that can draw up water better. So we're gonna there's no real pattern. I like to do kind of a sweeping up and an arc downward. You'll see once we have it all together how that kind of fits together, but it really doesn't matter, you know, just have fun with it. You don't want it to be all in one direction. You like to have several different directions, fill your entire space. Different heights and textures will draw your focus to the entire arrangement and not into one spot.
Yes.
So if there are any tiny holes, different textures will hide that too. So if you feel like you don't have enough greenery, can't find enough, then textures, and leave them in big pieces. Some of those are really neat too. You'll see as we go a little bit further into this.
Smells really good.
I know, when you start cutting the greens. When you have specialty things that you want to include, like this deer, it's best probably to put them in toward the beginning so you can put your greenery around it and you're not trying to force it in after you're done with your arrangement. I like to use these picks to hold him in place. He's gonna kind of, so you don't have to ruin him. Now you can also take a pick, like the end of one of these that's sharper, take some glue, and a lot of times these are made out of a very strong, like styrofoam, so you can actually puncture a hole and put him down in, but I don't want to ruin him, so, and I want to be able to use him again possibly, so if we use these green sticks, he'll stand up pretty straight like that. Now with our candles, we are going to also put those in the back here. In these little holders. You don't have to have the holders. If you can't find them, you can put them straight down in the foam. I like that though because I can make it a different height too. I like a little stair pattern there. And then I'm going to do some shorter pieces so I can start filling in around our elements there, the candles. Because you want to cover at least the bottom parts of it so you can't see the little makeshift stands we've put in there.
You do make it look easy, Jennifer.
Well, it's, you know, it's just fun. You know, it's something to do even with the kids. Let them play. You can't do it wrong.
Right.
So that's the fun part about it. And then we've got this.
Well, sure, it can become a family tradition.
Yeah. And then if you use some of the bushier, like holly, some of the magnolias, it's going to take up more space so you don't actually have to use as many greens to cover all of this up. So right now, this is pretty green. I also brought with me, or we could use even some of that spray snow on this if you want to give it a true winter look. And then I like to include just a few flowers. It doesn't have to be all greenery. So you might stop by your local grocery or your local florist, whoever you use, and pick up just a couple stems of flowers. Most will sell you just a couple stems. And that'll give you, we're gonna let you look at it there.
Yeah,
you can see some of the freshness there that gives you that fresh flower look, but then also the Christmas greens because you want that to be the focus really of your centerpiece. But the lilies will also give it a nice fragrance as well.
So these are actually fresh. I didn't realize that.
Yep, these are real lilies. They're a quadruple bloom white lily. That's why it looks so filled in the middle. So we'll turn this back around so
how long do these usually last?
You can, as long as you continue to put water, notice I put a liner in here. You can continue to water this and it'll last, the greenery will probably last for at least a month. And you can pick the flowers out if they start falling off, but usually at least a week or two. So we're gonna put some more in here so that every side of your centerpiece is visible to the table. I know we're looking at it from behind right now. That's my normal pickup for my son at school.
All right. Listen, we're all busy. That's part of the whole...
I gotta have alarms for everything. Seriously, I really do. So then we've got some of our, I don't know if you can see it that way.
Yeah, it looks great.
So it kind of looks like you're out in the woods, right?
A lot of supplies either.
You can use the berries off of your bushes outside. You can use holly. You can use boxwood. That's another one that a lot of people have. We talked about using some of the mixed mediums here. I like taking some of these Christmas silks, if you will, and just adding it in there. There's nothing that says you have to use all fresh or you want to use all silk. A lot of times when we do like wedding sprays, arbor pieces, we do a mix of dried silk and fresh to give it the look that a lot of brides or a lot of clients want that they see on Pinterest. Pinterest is kind of the florist's worst nightmare because they're grand displays, but they're often much more expensive than people realize. But then they're also, a lot of them are silk and people want them in fresh and you just can't get the same colors and textures. So if you do a mix of that, you're giving your clients the best of both, really.
Yes.
So as you can see there, we've got, I kind of like the peachy pink, kind of a dusty rose look. Stick some of those in there. making sure our little reindeer doesn't
So while you're
fly
putting
away.
things in, so Paducah Flower Company's in Paducah and Lone Oak, and you're also in Murray.
We have the Murray Flower Company as well. That's on the Court Square on Maple Street, so it's easy to find right across from the courthouse. We have a new designer there. She is wonderful. And we also have Rod Thomas from the Racers. He is an ambassador for the Murray Flower Company, and of course he's Paducah proud too.
Yeah,
so
Paducah Tillman graduate, yes.
We're very happy to have him on our team for this year. So see it, and then of course we've got a few holes in there, so when you go back around, you take more of your greenery and you start filling in where you see any holes there. You can make it as full. Again, if you're limited on the amount of things you can find out in your yard, it doesn't even have to be this big. It can be something much smaller and you're not taking up as much space. You can use red roses. You can do traditional green and red. You can do blues. You can spray paint carnations in blue. You know, you can do a lot of different things. Pinterest.
So you said there are no rules, but you try to stick to some type of color theme, I assume?
Yeah, I would pick something that is something you like to use when you decorate for Christmas. You know, you want it to match your decor at the house or at the office, or try something different, expand. Like this is probably the first time I've ever made a dusty rose centerpiece for Christmas, but it gives you that Christmassy and wintry feel, and also maybe a little boutique-ish. So you can blend all of those together. You know, even some of the white, if I had the white spray snow, I would probably dust some of these Christmas greens, and that you can find for like 50 cents or $1 for a little can of it.
So you just do a little dusting of that if you're going to
Yeah, you don't want to spray too much of it. It does get all over everything. It's like a paint, so you have to be careful with that. So.
And while you're putting a few more items in, so tell us about Paducah Flower Company. It's a full service.
It is.
Flower
We
shop.
do everyday flowers. We have a website. We do funeral services. That's a major part of the business is funeral services. We service both Paducah and Mayfield. We service Mayfield out of our Lone Oak location, and of course Murray. So we cover a lot of the purchase area. With that, we deliver gift baskets. We do celebratory things. We do some on location. It's case by case for like weddings and events, things like that. And we just have a lot of fun with it. Everyone that we have employed, we all kind of have the same vision of giving the customer their vision, but us creating the magic for them. Does that make sense? It's not just cookie cutter. You can get that, and of course we'll do the traditional things on our website for Teleflora, but also things like this. We talk about corporate gifting and, you know, office type and event type centerpieces. We do a lot of that too.
Great. So did we finish?
I think we're almost finished.
Yeah, it looks
I would
great.
think so. And then the last thing you have to do, probably don't have a whole lot of room for ornaments on this one, but
so if you did put an ornament on it, do you glue it in, or you just sit
so
it in,
you can take one of these picks, or if you have any floral wire,
Okay.
you can run it right through the bulb on the top there. Just like that. And then you wrap it around your stick. And we can add a small one here just to give you the idea.
So it sticks in just like everything else.
Yeah, just kind of like we did the deer.
Secure.
You always have to finish everything off with a bow. It took me a while to get into making a bow quickly.
But you can buy a bow too.
But it's twisting, yeah, it's just
not a bow
twisting
maker.
around, and you don't even have to do that many loops. You can do just 2, or you can just do a little tuft of fabric or ribbon and leave it at that. So I like this one because it's kind of a thinner ribbon for a centerpiece. You don't want to get too big because it's going to cover everything. And same thing.
There's the wire.
Put that down the middle, nice and tight.
And so you put it in.
And we just want to finish it off. You want to make sure you don't break the liner with your picks and your wire, because then water will come out on your table and you don't want that. So you have to be very careful when you're doing that. But yeah, so we've got, and I would probably make this a little bit fuller if I were doing it at the shop and we had a longer time, but you get the idea. You can use these mixed greens, use whatever you have in there. I'd love to put magnolia leaves to give another texture, a darker texture, because it's almost that really dark green, that forest green. But yeah, I like to do that. And even just white and green is real pretty for the table. So you don't have to get real complicated if that's not your thing, if you just want to do something simple.
Well, great, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it smells good too, doesn't it?
It does smell
Get you in
good.
that
Like
Christmas
I said,
spirit.
I didn't know the flowers. I actually didn't think they were real. They look beautiful.
Yeah.
So we just want to say that you can make it a wow Christmas. You can, Paducah Flower Company can provide for you.
We can do this for you, or we can help you and get you the flowers that you need to make it yourself.
Yes. So we hope you have a wow Christmas, and we hope you'll support local businesses like the Paducah Flower Company.
Thank you.